Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are inside of the Pastor Study. We appreciate all of you for being with us on tonight, and we're here, separate locations, but me and my co-host, Pastor M.L. Collins, y'all know him, Marquise Lawrence Collins is his name, better known as.
Don't let that be your second time today.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right, man. Glad to have you with us. Carlton Jones.
And, man, we got.
Before I get friend and co-host Marshall. I was trying to mention Marshall, by the way. Exactly.
Yeah, it's usually three of us. Pastor Marshall Johnson is. I think he's taking a sabbatical tonight. Sabbatical is a good word to use. We want to definitely keep him in our prayers. He just buried two relatives, and one of them was very dear to him, very close to him. So we want to keep him in our prayers. Shout out to the bishop. We miss you, and we'll see you next week. But tonight, it's still three of us. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
It's still three of us. Yeah, we got a special co-host on tonight, a guest co-host. I think he won a contest, did he? I think he won some kind of contest. He's able to co-host with inside of the Pastor Study. He's going to join the preaching firm tonight, but his first name don't start with an M, so we can't say M3. But we want to give it up for Pastor Donnell Walder. We thank God for him. Thank God for him being with us. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. I'm honored to be here. Thank you guys for having me on. It's always a privilege to share with heaven.
All right, Collins, what do the people need to do tonight?
Well, they've been hearing from another individual for time, but that is my night. So what we would like you all to do tonight is to please like, share, comment, and don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. I'll say it one more time. We would like you guys to like. We want you guys to share. And if you feeling like you got something on your mind to say, we want you to comment. And then subscribe to YouTube.
All right. Awesome. Well, tonight we got another hot topic. And I'm excited about tonight's topic. It's finna get real. It's finna get hot up in here. And if you can't handle the heat, you might as well get out of the kitchen tonight, because it's about to go down tonight. Pastor Walder's in the group. Pastor Collins, we are getting ready. Actually, we got a guest that's going to come in and join us a little bit later on, but we'll bring him on when he gets here. But tonight, we're actually going to be talking about the struggles of bivocational pastors. I think this is a very good topic, something that we don't normally talk about in the church world, but I think it's something that we need to talk about to try to get some pressures, or to try to get some of the stress off of our pastors that are doing this and doing that and trying to pastor their churches. I think all three of us on tonight are bivocational. Pastor, what are your thoughts on being bivocational and a pastor as well?
Being bivocational is challenging, especially when you're someone that has a lot of vision. Because you have to be able to focus on being bivocational, because while you're at work, God is you're trying to focus on work and focus on the vision that God is giving you. And so it's a challenge. But I also understand too that the need to be bivocational, especially when you're building. especially when you're starting out, especially if you haven't started with an extensive amount of finances, then being bivocational, comes in handy because let's face it, when you're starting a church or when you're new to a church, the majority of the financial backing comes from you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so, at the beginning stages, being bivocational is almost like a requirement.
Yes.
But as you continue to grow, it becomes more and more of an option until you feel God has led you into full-time ministry, which is a privilege that a lot of pastors never experience.
Right.
Because especially now, in this pandemic, it's almost necessary to be bivocational. Or it's necessary to have a separate stream of income.
Yes.
Because with churches being unable to meet, the giving of course goes down. So there's always a challenge.
I will agree. At one point of my pastoring career, I had almost up to 5 jobs at one time. And so I know the pressures and I know how hard it is. I only have one job outside of pastoring now, but we're talking to a man on tonight. He owns 2 or 3 businesses. Pastor Collins, come on, talk to us about the pressures of being vocational. All right, I think he froze up. So we're just going to go ahead and jump on into this. I wanted to start off by saying there is only one God, and guess what? Ain't none of us him. There's only one God. And so when all of the people that we try to serve and we try to love and we try to do for, when we're serving them, some kind of way it gets into a mixed reaction that we're actually the God, come on now, that they're supposed to be serving. Come on, talk to us, Doc.
Man, that deals a lot with ego. As a leader, you have to understand that, and of course, I've had to learn this over the years. I've made the mistake of expecting people to be more faithful than they were to God.
Yeah.
And it didn't come because I wanted people to worship me. It came because I started getting frustrated with God about the way people would behave or respond or serve in regard to the leadership that they love the Lord, but you don't follow instructions, you don't really pray, you don't really serve like you do. And it wasn't until God corrected me and said, you're getting mad because they aren't faithful to you when they can't be more faithful to you than they are to you.
Right.
And so it was once I heard that, it took me a minute to embrace the fact that people cannot be faithful to you as a leader if they are not faithful to God. Because what happens is you become an idol.
Okay.
And of course, we all know the Bible says, I will have no other God before me.
Right.
So when the people start making you a God, then God has to come in and do what he has to do.
All right. Well, I was just going to ask Pastor Collins to jump in, but when we talk about there's only one God, and you just spoke of the fact that he said there's only one God and that you ought to be serving, and thou shalt have no other God before me. There has been times I remember growing up. There was times when we made the preacher the focal point of the service. We made the preacher the focal point of the church, and we wasn't looking at the Christ he was preaching about. We were looking at the man that was doing the preaching.
Absolutely.
And I think we get that confused when you say we need to understand who we serving. We're not serving man, but we're serving God.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think we need to make that clear, because being vocational brings on a lot of stress. First of all, Pastor Collins, can you hear me? Okay. He can't hear me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it brings on a lot of stress. First of all, being bivocational, it messes with our relationships. We are husbands, we are fathers,
Yeah.
we are full-time employees,
Absolutely.
we are pastors, and all of the rest of the things that we are, and it hinders relationships. What can you add to that?
Okay. So let me say this. It's very challenging to be bivocational, because it does put a lot of weight on your shoulders. Because you have your job pulling from you, you have God pulling from you, you have your coworkers pulling from you, you got your family pulling from you, and then you got the saints pulling from you. And so it does place a tremendous amount of weight on the shoulders of a leader. But I believe that when it's done right, that God has given us the strength to be able to balance it and do what we need to do without us folding under the pressure. I think a lot of times when we fold under the pressure, it's because we put a tremendous amount of additional weight on ourselves. Because we, as pastors, we have a heart for people. And so sometimes we end up taking on extra assignments because we don't want to feel like we've let everybody down.
Right. And you know, when you take on those extra assignments, something is going to be lacking. Something goes lacking when you take on those extra assignments. And one thing that we don't want to be guilty of is letting God's work go to lack. Absolutely. But then here's your family over here. They're struggling because they don't see you, they don't spend time with you, the children can't talk to you, and the wife is lonely.
Well, the thing we have to understand is being in ministry is not fair to family. And anybody that thinks it is delusional. Because there are so many times where your family may desire your presence, but God is requiring your presence.
Yes.
And sometimes it seems unfair. But again, if we use wisdom and learn how to balance it better, it can be done. But I have to accept the fact it will never be fair.
No.
Because at some point, somebody's going to suffer.
Yes. That's right. And so when you talk about being Vocational.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of things that we're lacking because
Absolutely.
we got so much on our plate. We don't get enough rest. There's always so much more work that needs to be done than the time that we have.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we have to learn, and I'm guilty of it as well. We have to learn that we have to take time for ourselves to sit down, relax. Because watch this. Going through the hustle and bustle of doing everything that we're doing, when do we hear from God?
Mm.
When do we sit down and talk to God and just have a conversation with Him and let Him speak back to us? And we're missing those aspects. And then I remember working all of those jobs. I was literally running to the pulpit trying to get there off for 3 hours sleep.
Yes, sir.
Because I had worked all night.
Mm-hmm.
And here you are standing up there. And I can talk about it because I was there. Sluggish. I mean, you really ready to, you ready to get in so you can get out because
Mm-hmm.
you that tired.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of fellowshipping you don't want to do, but you do it because you get all kind of stones thrown at you in that area.
Mm-hmm.
But we got to learn how to rest. Come on, talk about it.
Resting is extremely important, and that was something I didn't focus on or make definite until 2 months ago. And I had been ministry since 1999. So it wasn't until a few months ago that I actually was intentional about taking a day off to do nothing. Just relax, rest, recuperate. If I want to cartwheels, that's my business.
Yeah.
But to have nothing to do with ministry, rest. It was specifically designed. But
Right.
other than that, I'm not answering calls. I'm not doing the graphics. I'm not doing nothing on my day off. Because if I'm not sure about having a day off, if I'm not sure about having a day off, then what happens is I begin to get frustrated because I'm now on fumes.
Right.
So,
And yeah, and I agree, man. We don't get enough rest. Matter of fact, we're in a pandemic now, and more pastors are working harder now than they were before the pandemic. I know I am. I'm guilty of it. I'm pretty much every day of the week I got something going on concerning ministry. And don't let a death happen.
Yes,
Don't
sir.
let somebody go into the hospital.
Right.
Don't let a family in crisis happens. Then that's more time taken up where rest has been put on the shelf again.
Mm-hmm. That's most people don't understand that pastors, we don't get a day off. We have to take our day off.
No,
Because if you let people, they will put you all day. They because in the moment they're only concerned with whatever they need you to be involved in. Very rarely do you find people who actually say, Pastor, I know this is your day off, so I'm not going to bother you today. No, people will say, I know it's your day off, but. And my thing, if you just told me it was my day off, that means you know it's my day off.
Right.
You know I only get paid. But yet, you feel like what issue is so severe that it can't wait until tomorrow. And maybe one out of every 10 issues is worse you dealing with on your day off. The other nine could have waited.
Yes. Yeah.
And so people think we're mean or we're ignoring them. But if I don't be disciplined and teach you how to respect my day off,
Mm-hmm.
you won't respect it.
Right. That's true. That's true. That's true. I think it starts with us though,
It does.
because we don't allow. Pastor Collins, can you hear us now? Okay.
I can a little bit. Hey, y'all hear me?
Yes. You want to chime in?
Okay, yes, I'd have to agree with you guys. It is quite a task for us to both work and pastor effectively. Um, I've been working for time for myself. I work within the ISD, and it's been a task wherever I work as well as pastor, because while you're out there working, there's so many different calls and expectations. I was told by older preacher one time when your members inform you is not information, it's expectation. So when they tell you about an event, they weren't just telling you. A lot of times they're looking for you to show up and be present. There are several things that we present for our members and them and that some guilty of their own. So I think prioritizing our time is very important.
Right.
So when you say something up, that's something to consider. We have to take our time, put it on the calendar, just to set our family time. You don't want to kind of map your weeks out from what I'm saying while trying.
All right. I think we still having some technical difficulties. But yeah, you're absolutely right. We got to prioritize. I remember we had one guest on the show that said he had been pastoring so many years, and he stood up in church, and the member said, "Pastor, we want you to have this day off." He took it, and they still called him. They still called him.
But that's because most people are in love with the thought. You know, they say thought.
Yeah.
So they feel like if we tell you we want you to have this day off, we want you to rest. Problem is, the same people telling you to rest are the ones that keep you away.
Right.
You know, we as pastors have to set standard and say, listen, unless somebody is dying or on the verge of suicide, do not call home. Whatever it is. Just like y'all rest, we need rest.
Right.
And if we take off Monday, unless somebody is dying, there ain't nothing to wait till Tuesday. You know, I say this in general because scenario, take scenario, but at least honor us and allow us to rest and recuperate. Because we got to hear God ourselves in order for us to back to you.
Right.
And if we give y'all 6 days a week, at least give us one.
Yeah. I agree. You know, not only does it affect our rest and our relationships, but being vocational, it affects our study time.
Yeah.
That's major because the biggest part of our life in ministry is being able to uh, uh, give a word to encourage the people to live for God the rest of their lives. And all bivocational ministers struggle with this, but we got to find ways to study both effectively and efficiently. What you got to say?
That's where you have to become creative. Because often when I find out studying, it's usually the time where I'm reading the word. And so if we can find that discipline time to read, to live, then when we stand up to preach, instead of preaching from what we study, we can preach from what we live.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, I study, pulling out the concordance and the Flores and the Hebrew Bible. I believe in all of that. But I believe when the Bible says we are epistles able to be read by all men. I believe when we read and study to live, it makes it easy for us who are bivocational, who don't have time to study for hours and hours on end. When we stand up, give a word, we can give a word from what we've been eating to live. And not just to study to preach.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But for those of us who are bivocational, we've got to become creative in how we our study.
Yeah. That's true. If it's true for the congregation, when we say it matters what they eat, what they eat on Sunday morning, I mean, it's on us because guess what? We're feeding them.
Absolutely.
And what we have in us, from first of all what He's given us, and then the study of His Word, because He works both ways. Some stuff that He gives us, we don't have to read this. He speaks to us. And you got to be able to have enough quiet time to hear God's voice.
Absolutely. I found that most of us, we experience those moments in very good places. Like you could be walking around Walmart. And then God will start talking to you. It's almost like in that moment He wants to have time with you. Or for me, I know a lot of driving in the car. Something happened, and God will start dealing with me, my radio on. And then it's like God having a full conversation. The whole time I'm get to my destination, and then I get out of the car, and I wasn't going.
Right.
Or usually in those winding down moments, when you get off work, you come home, and before you kind of want to lay down and relax. It's in those moments that God will start speaking to.
Yeah.
So God finds creative ways to get His time in. And true, we have to be disciplined enough to set that time. But again, everybody is different, but the requirement would be the same. Because I'm 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Now, I'm not picking up every morning at 5 o'clock just to study. I don't that ain't mine.
Right.
But I find time to do it. It just won't be at 5 o'clock in the morning unless it's God ordained.
Right. Because when you work in a full-time job, it's taxing on your body, it's taxing on your mind.
Absolutely.
And you got all of these things swirling in your mind. You got to do this. You got to do this. You got to have a word ready
Absolutely.
Here you are swamped. And now Friday has passed. And we're down to Saturday night. And guess what? You ain't had a chance to open up the book.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't had a chance to hear a song.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't had a chance to hear nobody say nothing about God. Now here you are trying to find your peace and your place to give to the people on Sunday morning.
One of the great things about God is He'll wait for the last minute. They'll tell you exactly what to say. And we're just preaching, we've all done it. That moment where, life got us and, we don't message right before we took the stage.
Right.
We don't we have to make a habit of it, but, especially those of us who have an open conversation with God and we're continuously speaking through Him, speaking to Him throughout the week.
Yes.
Like I can't speak for other people, but because I'm prophetic in nature, I'm always listening to God for something.
Yes.
Whether I'm in the store, whether I'm at the gas station, and then I'm always sensitive to the atmosphere, and I'm always picking up something. No matter where I am, I'm picking up something.
Yes.
Something is affecting my spirit, and so it helps in those tough moments.
Yes.
Where I walk into a building and they're like, Pastor Walder, we need to deliver the word. And I'm like, okay, give me 2 Lord, what's in the atmosphere? Okay, I got it. But I would feel a lot more comfortable
if you had known. Right.
So it has its pros and its cons. But being by vocation, man, it's a challenge. It's a challenge, though.
And also, one more thing on this part is that it has an emotional effect on us as well. Being in ministry as you're a full-time vocational worker, it doesn't give you the chance to connect with your church family like you would like to on a deeper level. Just for an example, a week ago, one of my young people at my church graduated from college. And during this time, there's not a lot of gathering, so they had a parade for her.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Pastor couldn't be there because Pastor got to go to work.
Absolutely.
And you pray and hope that people would understand that, but they don't understand that all the time. My pastor wasn't here. My pastor didn't call me. My pastor didn't do this. Well, your pastor is busy working because he's got to make a living for his family.
I have a different thought process about that. Because as your pastor, I'm not responsible for celebrating anything outside of your spiritual progress. I'm your pastor. I'm not your leader to a certain degree. I'm your pastor.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't call you happy birthday, that doesn't make you less important to me.
Right.
Because God didn't come into your life to wish you happy birthday.
Yes.
God has come into your life to make sure that you fulfill your destiny. And as long as you connect to me, my assignment is to make sure you fulfill your assignment. So if I don't show up at your graduation, it's okay. If I don't come to your house chicken wing, it's okay. If I don't wish you happy birthday, it's okay. That doesn't mean I don't love you. That doesn't mean I'm not your pastor. That doesn't mean you're not important to me. That simply means The emotional connection is what makes them not understand that.
Right.
But if I got 500 people, I'm not going to 500 birthdays.
You can't get there no way.
Especially when I gotta have a 500 people. And 500 people don't all eat the same thing.
No.
So don't get me wrong. We show up when we can.
Yes.
And if we do show up, that's a privilege.
Yes.
Not a requirement.
That's right.
Now, I believe in making sure my people know that I'm available.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're not going to do is try to make me feel bad because I didn't show up for your birthday when I have a hard time getting you to show up first.
Come on now. Come on.
Because you expect me to be more faithful than you are than you are to the dish.
Yes.
You will give me every excuse why you don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to give me a pass when I can show up to your party.
Right.
I got a problem.
Or like you said, the phone call. But I'm glad you went there because the next part is vision. Your vision capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Being bivocational, you got to have vision on the job because they're giving you assignments.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got a family over here you're trying to raise. You're trying to make sure that everybody's growing up the way they ought to grow. Your wife is in, everything is in order.
Absolutely.
Then you got a church that you need to have vision for. And now you got vision going everywhere.
Ooh, Jesus. I don't know one pastor. I don't know one pastor that don't sit at work and think about something they can do for the church.
Yeah.
It's like it's on my mind all the time.
Right.
I'm sitting at your desk like, oh, we need to print out these things for the church.
Uh-huh.
I'm using the work computer to print out because it's like, I don't have to stop and go home and write it down.
Yes.
So I'm sitting there being like, like some of the best sermons I've ever heard. I'm sitting in my work.
Yeah.
Because it was like God and I couldn't wait. I had to get it right then.
Knowing that ain't what you supposed to be doing.
And I'm just really that's what we doing.
Right.
So you just interrupt my work this crazy revelation, and you expect me to continue to work like you say what you do. And so it's extremely, especially someone with vision that you haven't even unlocked.
Yes.
When you got visions just going through your head, and you're like, oh my God, but you like, you're so tired. By the time you get work, it's like, get to it tomorrow. But like, what
am I doing here?
Right. What am I doing? You almost
what do you have me doing here?
Right. You sure you don't want me today?
Right. Somebody need to get this. Somebody need to go and get this right now.
Get ready.
Right. And the hard thing is, until you find people who have your DNA, not just attracted to your delivery, then you can't even trust them with what God does because you know it's not going to get done.
Chime in, Pastor Collins.
Say it again. My phone's still a little delayed. I heard the topic gets so hot. We're having difficulties tonight.
Go ahead and chime in.
Yeah. Y'all can hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
It's quite difficult. There's a huge expectation out there via our membership. We do want to meet the needs, but again, I go back to what I was saying earlier when the phone was delaying, is that we have to prioritize our time. We got to keep family first. God ordained the family before the church, and we can never forget that. Then it's quite difficult, while you're trying to manage the both, because as you want your marriage to survive, you want that marriage relationship to your church to survive too. Yeah. So then you're trying to focus on making both survive at the same time with one person and on one person. So all you can do is completely depend on God. I mean, it's a humbling experience every day. Every day we're making choices that's going to affect the household, and every day we're making choices that's going to affect the church. I mean, we dress one way and go to one location, it's okay. We dress the same way and go to another location, it's a problem. We go visit one child and see them play a sport. We miss the other child. You know that's a problem. It's just one you. Sometimes, although we know we don't act in our anointing as we should.
That's true. That's true.
Can I play devil's advocate for a minute?
I already saw it coming.
No. This don't help a lot of people. Pastor Collins said, it's important to learn how to balance ministry. And before, while he was talking about how ministry for the family. And one of the questions I had that I would always pick somebody's brain is I remember time I said, family is more important than ministry.
Amen.
And I remember saying it. And then I remember reading some text. Wait a minute. I got to go back and read it. Because watch this. On many occasions, he said, I must my father's business. Right? Which means he always put his assignments before everything else.
Yeah.
But then they come and they say, hey, your mother and your brother died. Jesus said, who is my brother?
Who is my brother?
Them that do the will of God. So with that being said, what do you do when your family needs you to be daddy, but God needs you to be his prophet? And they both need the same exact time.
Well, I grew up in a family of preachers, and the wives pretty much always understood that, hey, my husband is going to work for the Lord,
right,
and we're going to support him no matter what. Wife might need time, children might have activities,
right.
But they understood that the man of God had to go serve his God and serve God's people. Now it's a different day and time now, because a lot of folks,
we pretty on the head, Doc.
A lot of folks want our time, and that's it. They ain't trying to hear no They ain't trying to hear that. But when Jesus called his disciples, some of them were married. But you know what Jesus told them to do? He said, drop what you're doing, take up your cross, and follow me. He didn't say go ask your spouses. He didn't say go ask your families. He said follow me. Now, when I grew up, my grandfather was the head of the family. And here it is. When he followed God, the family followed him. When he followed God, the family would follow him.
Absolutely. But we live in a completely different day and time. And now, like you said, people only care about what they need from you in the moment. Now, because I'm not a Bible speaker. Let me speak to the imbalance. Because it's one thing when you've invested time in your family, so that when God calls you on an assignment, they don't feel abandoned, or they don't feel deficient, meaning you haven't spent any time with your family, but you always at church. I was that. I've been there before. I've been there before. So what we as leaders have to do is those moments where we can bring time, we have to cherish those moments, because at any given time, God is always on an assignment. And our family, if they never see us, they will begin to hate our assignment, because our assignment has stolen their father, has stolen their husband, has stolen, their figure.
Right.
So the only conflict comes in when the family feels empty, while you're trying to fulfill everybody else. So those moments when we're at home, and we can't hang out with the boys, take our daughters and things of that nature. We've got to be able to do that, so that when it's time for us to go away and do ministry, God understands. I mean, not God, family understands.
I think I like the concept. Family is your first ministry. I like that concept, and I think that we need to do a little bit more of that. Try to get a little bit better of that. But being bivocational, I am a firm believer that you are responsible for your sheep. We are the under shepherd. But I am a firm believer that on the flip side of that we are the responsibilities of that ministry, of that church.
Absolutely.
Now, I know there are some ministries that cannot do maybe not all that they would like to do to take care of the man of God. There are some churches that are not going to do everything that they can to take care of the man of God. See, when they're our responsibilities, we have to make sure that the diet that we put them on or give them is sufficient for them to grow.
Absolutely.
But then on the flip side, when we are their responsibilities, there are some needs that ought to be met on behalf, because the Bible says those that sow spiritually ought to reap carnally. So where did we get this? He's a man just like me, and he ought to go to work.
Because people care more about where their money is going than they do about where your food is going. Because they expect you to preach every 52 weeks a year, while they make it an option to obey or not.
Or come or not.
Or come or not. But they expect you to be in place, even if they don't show up. But then when you say, all right, I want everybody to love me to $20. Oh my God, that pastor's all about the money. How am I all about the money? Watch this. How am I all about the money when I've been giving you all this for free? You won't go to the psychiatrist, therapist, and sit on their couch for free.
Nope. And don't talk about what they drive.
You don't go to the doctor.
No.
You don't even go to the restaurant and get food that ain't good for you for free.
Right.
But you have somebody in your life that's carrying you as a burden. Let's make clear. People think when they join our church, they're doing us a favor. Let me help you. You are adding a burden to us.
My Lord.
But because God called you to us, we are built to handle the burden.
Yeah, the weight of it.
You adding a burden to us ain't an issue. But you adding a burden to us and being uncomfortable about it. Because just member, we can reject them.
Yeah, that's Bible.
No.
Nobody want to hear that.
Church doesn't follow protocol and membership like all church did.
Right.
See, in the early you couldn't join because you said you wanted to go. In the early they watched you for up to 2 years. And then they decided what they had observed. If you were for that community, not this new age. We accept people at the altar. They don't know nothing about church, don't know nothing about what we believe, don't know our vision, don't know any of that. Pause, let me say this. For those of you that are listening, we are well aware of that. We've been trying to find all night. We apologize. But I promise you, we've been trying. We've been fighting, but we got you. Okay. We love y'all. Thank y'all. Here we go. So they don't understand that y'all are adding. You got to deal with my Sister Johnson, Coleman, and now you don't I got to deal with that. Not to mention, you don't even raise. So you bring them you to pray a miracle. You don't even spend time doing Bible. Come on.
That's right.
So I'm fighting this. And I asked you for $2. And that was too much. But you ain't gonna go to the house and spend that $2. Yo, you ain't got on your name, on your feet, on your head. What I found is it's not that people can't do it. They don't want to.
I remember Paul was he was doing ministry, and he was lacking in funds. And the churches where he was doing ministry wouldn't take care of him. You know what he had to do? He had to call some backup. He had to call his younger protege, Timothy. He had to call his friend in ministry to come bring me some money. The church had to gather some money up to make sure that Paul was able to continue to do ministry. Ministry costs.
It costs.
Ministry is not free for nobody. And like you said, we'll take the burden, we'll carry the weight.
Yep.
We'll do what we have to do to make sure that everything keeps going. But when it comes down to sowing into the people that are sowing into you, that's where we run into our problem.
Because people don't truly understand the privilege of having a leader that loves you beyond you. The night phone call, the text, the counsel, the correction, dealing with your attitude, dealing with your obedience, unlocking vision in you. Because I learned, Pastor Jones, let's say you got a member in your church. And you look at them, and God showed you a vision of him working in a particular area.
Mm-hmm.
They never thought about it. But because you the watchman of their soul, God released it. You released it to them. They listened to you. And now they're making. And you ask them to sow. Do you understand? You're not asking them to sow their money. You're asking them to sow money. Because that's money you never would have had if you wouldn't have heard from them.
Right.
All right.
Right.
So how do you receive a seed and don't sow back into the place? Well, you got the seed, but now you become so harvest.
Yeah.
And when you become so harvest, God makes it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how many people are serving you with dried up harvest because they took and they planted and God blessed the harvest, but they didn't come back and bless the place from where the seed.
Yes. Yeah. I was in a service last night. There's two seasons that God gives us: seed time and harvest time.
Absolutely.
Don't just show up when it's harvest time and you ain't planted no seeds.
Well, you don't even have a right when it's harvest time. If you ain't planted.
Here you come with your basket. Like you finna pull up something, you ain't planted nothing.
Because people see the church as an 18. The church is not required to pay your bill. Especially when you're not a member. Hello.
Yes.
Some people ain't gonna like to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
But Marquise know what he's gonna say. I got more Bible than you, I promise. Because at the end, people see the church as an ATM. I'm gonna call the church and pay my light bill. But we just saw you on Facebook. You just bought some brand new Jordan. Why you didn't put that in the Bible? The church is not your emergent cash flow because of your plan and organized.
Right.
Now, if you are in your need, the church is not required to help you. Because we have but if we have help,
that's right.
We will gladly help.
Yeah.
Especially if you're tithing going. It ain't even we're gonna make sure you good.
Right. Because we operate out of love.
Right. We gonna make sure you're good. But don't get it twisted. We are not to be an ATM.
No.
We do that out of love. And people always want to put unity up the But when you can get the community to actually church, then you can talk about what we can do. Because how do you their resources from the community?
Right.
So if the community is going up, why are you mad? Ain't giving back to the community, but ain't even giving in the first place.
And there's a lot of people that are satisfied with just the swelling of the church. It ain't growing. It's just swelling. We want as many folk to come in here. You don't know who these folks is. You don't know where they come from.
Listen. Cancer grows. That don't make it good.
Yeah.
Because if cancer grows, you're going to die. Some churches are dying because they're growing. But the growth ain't happening. It's not about it's about discipleship.
That's it.
Most churches are growing because people are drawn to delivery.
Mm-hmm.
If you can hoop, you can holler, you can scream.
And emotionalism. Yes.
And emotionally. It's the church that have genuine deposit that ain't growing.
Yes.
Because deposit require you to change.
Yeah.
Deposit change you to change. Delivery just gets you home. And people want a church that will tell their fancy, but not change their methodology, not challenge their mindset. Because when we do that, they say, man, you trying to control me. I'm not trying to control you. My destiny is to reach yours. How am I trying to control you? I just want to see you win.
Right.
Watch this. I don't charge you to call me. I could. They got apps. They charge you $35 to talk to a therapist.
Yeah.
And I'll stay on the phone with you 3-4 hours. Boring. And I ask you, I'm all about the money. And you know I'm working for it. You know I got a family. So that means if I'm talking to you, I'm not spending time with you.
My God.
And I ask you and that's too much. But you went about number 12.
Right.
And it was $20. And you had to get just to get some money.
Yeah.
But when I ask, it's too much.
It's too much.
But it ain't too much. Take me at 3 o'clock in the morning saying, Pastor.
Yeah.
Wake me up out of my putting a burden on my spirit. Now I can't go because I'm up in the you. But that's too much.
And you know what we do? We get on up.
We get up. We do what we gotta do.
We do what we gotta do, man.
You do it.
I just think about it, man. Sometimes, you know, everybody got to realize. I got some members at my church that say, Pastor, if we ain't in a dire need, we know you working. We're not gonna call you for everything. But then you have some of those members that say, "No, we need Pastor. If I can't breathe right, I need Pastor on the phone."
Well, see, there's a difference between people that need and people that work.
That's
the
it.
people
That's
who
good.
do everything. It's not that they want attention. Because the Bible says, as many as by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. Watch this. As many as are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. When you break down spirit, you classify as attitude, mood, and response.
Yeah.
Right. Nowhere in there do you hear presence or voice. What does that mean? That means the more you use my voice, the less mature you are. So once I get the Spirit of God, I can hear His voice. But when I get ready to move, I don't need His voice because I have His Spirit.
Yes.
All right, somebody. Let me get the Bible. The Bible says Elijah stepped on the stick. Elijah accept my word, not going to pray. That's what he said.
Yeah.
He didn't say God told me to do. He said it ain't gonna rain. And God said, all right. It ain't gonna rain. Because Elijah had a relationship with God who had his spirit.
Yeah.
So when he had the Spirit of God, he didn't need his voice.
That's right.
God was going to grow.
Yes.
Same thing. The people that have your spirit, they can walk in with Jones and say, y'all know Pastor chairs like this. They ain't got to come up and say, how you want to put up the chairs? They know you well enough to know Pastor not gonna like the chairs like this. Y'all know Pastor don't want to. We're not gonna wear that color. Pastor not gonna like. because they matured enough to get your spirit.
Yes.
See, here's the difference. Some people want your delivery. These are the groupies.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. They in the church.
But the real want your DNA.
Ooh, my God. Come on.
That want your spirit.
Yes.
So that when people see them, they know, oh, that's one of
them. Well, so when you look at people that want your DNA, I think those are the people that have a heart after God.
Absolutely.
See, there's a lot of pretenders that come to church every Sunday. And one pastor came a few weeks ago, and he told us at my church, he said, God ain't giving out no Emmys. God ain't giving out no Oscars. God ain't giving out none of that stuff.
None of it.
But God wants you to worship him in spirit. And if you got a heart for God, you'll do the things of God.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You'll stop all the foolishness. You'll stop all of the attention seeking.
Absolutely.
And you'll have a heart after God. I like what Pastor Collins just said.
Yeah.
He said, you'll never get out of somebody or something that they don't feel has value.
Absolutely.
And it's strange that we have people that value their vacation more than they value their God. It's strange how people value their outside groups than they value their God. And I'm not just saying that you need to that only you bringing your money to church considers you to be a child of God. No. You don't necessarily have to do that. But when you have a heart for God, you'll do the things that God will have you to do. I have some members that'll say, Pastor, I didn't pay my tithe, but I had so-and-so came and they needed something. I gave it to them. I said, baby, you paid them. Because, see, our tithes are not always on a plate. If somebody's hungry, the Bible said, can you feed them? If somebody's naked, can you dress them? I get the concept. Come on, Pastor.
If people like what Pastor was saying, when people don't value you,
yeah,
or they don't see you right, if they don't see you right, they won't sow you.
You're right.
It's all about perception. It's all about perception. Elijah tells you, if you see me when I am taken, then you can have a double. But the key was you have to stay long enough to see me when I'm taken. You gotta perceive me right. When I'm elevated, in order for you to get a double portion. Many people are missing that because, like you said earlier, you see your leader as another man like you. He's not another man. He's not another woman. She is the watchman of their soul. He is the watchman of their soul. And the Bible says, where your heart is,
there he is.
Your treasure will also.
Yes.
So the reality of it is, they won't their treasure because their heart.
There it is. There it is, man. That's it.
Because your heart is, you say you want to say, I keep telling y'all, I know the Bible. The reality of it is, wherever they're going, that's where they heart.
That's true. That's true.
That's where they heart. Watch this. They won't pay their time. But I bet you ain't no bills. They won't pay that and then try to take you out.
It won't take you. Look, one pastor came on and said that he was pastoring the church for so many years, and there was many Sundays, and I've dealt with this many Sundays where the membership is saying, "Hey, we going to eat so and so," and you just hoping you can make it home because you ain't had no gas when you got to church. Not long get something to eat.
Or you done gave your money away to somebody who could do something.
You done gave your money away to somebody that said, "Pastor, I'm gonna pay you back Friday." Friday done came and left.
Listen. If all the people paid me back the money I gave out, I probably could quit my job. And I'm talking about. But let me say this. So we don't get on that show. We can get on that. But you know what? One thing I'm grateful for is even when I was struggling, God always made sure I had money to be a blessing to other people.
You know what God does? See, the people we have in front of us, we expect. But God does stuff that we don't expect.
Come on.
He always puts somebody in our path to give us something.
Absolutely.
And we look at somebody handed me something last week, and I was like, "You just don't know how much I needed it."
You don't even know.
You don't even know how much this blessed me. It ain't but $5, but guess what?
It blessed me.
I'm just saying, God got a way of blowing our mind, not with the folk that we see. Because a lot of times, that's not where our blessing come from. A lot of times, that's where our burdens come from.
Exactly. And I learned this. The Bible says you will reap what you sow.
Yeah.
It never said you will reap it what you sow. So oftentimes we plant in those that God will send a ram to come out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
And be like, man, God put this on my heart to bless you.
You know what's so funny about that?
Yes, sir.
You know it was God.
Oh yeah.
What? Why wasn't that ram moving around while he was laying there? Little Isaac on the altar.
Listen, everyone moved. But you know why? Because the ram was already defined to be the only factor that could have happened that moment was Abraham.
Yes. He had to give God his place back.
Exactly. So and Abraham has to have enough to carry out whether God sent the ram or not. Because Abraham, if you really want to be right, Abraham knew God was going to send the ram because Isaac was asking him. Abraham said, God will provide.
Yes.
So Abraham was speaking prophetic things, even without the word.
Even before then.
Right, which is
when his servant said, "Where y'all going?"
We going
me and the lad going up, but we'll be back.
We'll be back.
Now wait a minute. Now you know what God told you to do. How you gonna say we gonna be back?
That faith. So we have to have that same faith. You know what, God? I'm serving your people. I don't know where our help comes from. All I know is you told me we're going up yonder. I don't know where the finances gonna come from. I don't know where the wages gonna come from. I don't know where the doors gonna come from. All I know is we're going up yonder, and we'll be back.
We'll be back.
And we have to think that even when we ourselves don't know.
Now, yeah.
Here's the challenge, Pastor. The whole time God is telling us, we going up. He ain't telling us nothing.
Nope.
Isaac trust his father, even when his father ain't for sure how this is going to play out.
Or even when he don't tell him what was going to happen.
You don't. God never. God never has a conversation with us.
No.
Isaac is asking questions because he thinks that some ain't right.
Right.
But the Bible tells us that Isaac fought back, rejected what his father was trying to do. What did Pastor Collins say?
The hurtful part is that the fact that one's view of you determines how they treat you or respect you. However, God is the only judge, and favor has never been fair. You see no good, but God sees sons and his daughters. That's awesome. That's awesome.
While saying we are inside. Absolutely. Perception. One thing I've taught is that perception is greater than truth. And Jesus is truth.
Yes.
Now, why do you say that? Because the Bible tells us that there were some cases that Jesus did not perform miracles because of their unbelief.
That's right.
Because they were able to perceive right, they limited their ability to experience ability. Not that they couldn't do it, but because they didn't perceive him right. How people perceive you is how they would.
Yes.
That's why he says, forgive them, for they know not. He tells the woman at the well, if you knew who it was, you would ask him to drink.
Right.
All throughout he talked to us. People treat you based on their perception of you.
Yes.
So if they don't treat you right, they will never show you right. They will never serve you. They will never. It will always be chaotic.
There was some people that treated God so cold, Jesus so cold, that the Bible would say he just passed through.
Yeah.
He passed through Jericho. He didn't stay. I mean, when we get to be so cold toward God's people that are serving, that are ministering, that are pouring, you know what God is saying? I ain't staying here. I'm just gonna pass through.
He tells when you go into a city, if they don't receive, shake the dust off your feet and
keep it moving. Keep it moving.
See, but that's what people go wrong. People forget. The same way we keep a blessing, we can take it back.
Yes.
But they say that ain't God. Oh, I can show you that scripture where Jesus was like, no, let me have it. Y'all not gonna do that.
Listen at Job. Job said, "The Lord what? Give it, and He'll take it away."
So people try to put their obligation on pastors that they don't even perform. Like you want your pastor to be all while he's covering your mouth. And then when he makes a mistake, you ready to name wrong.
Yeah. When he helped you through your stuff,
you're right. Absolutely. There's so many churches. Listen. There's so many churches in the spirit of Ichabod. They having service, but they ain't having church. Because God done.
Yes, Lord, He'd have left the building.
And they think, they can have a good moment that God must really be there. No, just because He ain't shut you down, don't mean you ain't right.
Right.
Because Saul was anointed to be king of King Lear.
Yes.
And then God tore the kingdom from him. But it was 38 years later that he died.
That's right.
So Saul was fired and still got 38 years.
Yeah.
So just because you still in position, you ain't been fired.
Yeah, and you know what? One thing about God moving Um, um, I just lost my thought.
He said, God never said that.
What? Um. Oh, okay. Yeah. The moment when you talked about the moment,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Jesus really wasn't worried about the moment.
Mm-hmm.
He did a lot of things at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But watch this: when he was at the churches, the Sadducees and the Pharisees still had problems
Absolutely.
during the moment.
Absolutely.
What he doing touching them on the Sabbath? That was a moment, but you missed it because you worried about what day it is.
Mm-hmm.
When Jesus was getting ready to touch that boy's coffin, when they was carrying him to the graveyard, he was already dead, already had the funeral. The folk got upset. That was a moment, but they missed it. You know, if we don't go to church to make sure our relationship is right, because after we leave church, we're gonna have to have something to hold on to. We're gonna have to have something that we can be able to give. That's what we're supposed to do. Is to give to somebody else. Making disciples.
We have to understand that discipleship is more important than membership. You could have 100 members, but if you don't have any disciples, you ain't doing that.
That's right.
And somewhere along the way, the church becomes so consumed with membership that we drop the ball on discipleship.
I agree.
And we started limiting it to a certain group to go out and do discipleship. But that's not a different like evangelism, in my opinion, shouldn't be an auxiliary. Why? Because we are all.
It's supposed to be a part of us.
It's supposed to be a part of us.
And you know what I said? You know what I said? I said God shut the doors of the building, and we're outside of the church. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
But we still won't go outside and do ministry.
Watch this. You can add believers now. When's the last time they prayed the prayer of salvation with somebody? You might get one person to say I have. But you ask them when they last time they go to church. They'll tell you last week. When's the last time you had a break? Oh, just the other day. You ask them what's salvation. They have no clue.
Don't know what.
Because we limited evangelism to a group of people.
Yes, I agree.
When it's the responsibility of every believer.
Every believer to spread the gospel.
Is why. Period.
What do you do when you walk past a tree that don't bear no fruit?
Bible says cut down the ground. Bible says.
My God.
But we've gotten away from the true mission of church. And people are willing to invest in entertainment. But they run away from investing in edification. When you want to grow your spirit, prime example. You can put on a conference for church. Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But then you turn around and have a prayer in church. Nobody shows.
Mm-mm.
You could teach leadership. You could teach business. You could teach all of this. You may get a handful of people. But you bring a big artist in. Oh,
they packing it out.
They packing it out. Because people love to be entertained. Nobody but a few people, the remnant,
Right.
want to be edified. Because we understand, I appreciate the entertainment, but that ain't happening here.
Yeah.
I appreciate the economic empowerment class, but that ain't happening in the church.
That's right.
If I want to learn how to manage my money, I'll go to business class.
Yeah.
I can't church because I need to know how to get my food right.
That's
I need
right.
to know how to get with God. I need to learn how to activate this gift inside of me that's burning on it. I need to know the spiritual.
Yes. Yes.
But somewhere along the line, we started compromising the spiritual things and masquerading it under business principles. So now the church is all about economics.
Mm.
That's why you hardly ever see real altar calls anymore.
It ain't business.
It ain't good. You gotta get them in, you gotta get them out.
Yes.
That's why most people who come in free. When's the last time you really seen a preacher labor after they preach?
Yeah.
No, they say amen, the mic and go.
Yeah. That's
because
true.
we've gotten a quick church. So we gotta get it out. But when was the last time the church really labored? Yes.
Yes.
When's the last time you did a tent revival? Not because it was popular, but because we really want to win souls.
And not because it was the pandemic.
Not because the pandemic has proven that some of us were all.
Yeah.
We didn't have the oil we thought we had.
Mm-mm.
There's a reason you online every week. And your numbers won't even tune into your live.
Right. Right.
But you got to work in the Lord.
That's right.
And so I believe the body of Christ is on the brink of a major revival.
Oh yes,
but
I believe that.
It's gonna get worse.
It's getting worse.
It's gonna get worse.
I think we have gotten so complacent. Even now, we 6 or 7 months in. Even now, we're complacent. And if we don't heed to the things that God is doing, man, we're gonna miss the boat. We're actually gonna miss the boat. I wanted to extend the time tonight because we had a lot of technical difficulties at the beginning, and we did come on a little bit late. But man, I enjoyed this, talking about the struggles of a bivocational pastor. There are pastors struggling, y'all, trying to work a full-time job, trying to pastor a church, trying to father a family, and trying to be a husband of a wife. There are pastors that are struggling, and we wanted to talk about this tonight to try to help some pastors. Don't try to do it all on your own, sir. Don't try to do it all on your own, ma'am. There has to be some delegation, but then I understand you have to have people willing to be delegated.
Absolutely.
Pastor, what you got? Final thoughts.
I just want to encourage any pastor that may see this and your Bible. Just know, like Jesus told John the Baptist, suffer this beast now. Deal with it. Learn. Embrace it. Because trust me, being in full-time ministry is a greater faith than being Bible. Because once you enter into full-time ministry, everything you do depends on God opening doors, sending reports, sending finances. When your Bible opens, you know every week or every week your check is coming.
Right.
But when you are in full-time ministry, there are no people. It's just you and your walk with God.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm saying if God has blessed you to be bible, take advantage of it now. Because there may come a time where God calls you in a full-time ministry, and you ain't gonna be able to depend on a check. Your money not gonna be the same every week.
Yes.
With the exception of those of you who get a salary from the church, I've never gotten a salary from a church. Period. Not that I was looking for it, because my prayer was, God, make me successful, so I don't have to depend on the church.
Right.
Let that be if they bless me with it. But give me streams of income.
I know a lot of pastors who left a good paying job to pastor and wasn't making hardly nowhere close to what they were making work.
Absolutely. And if that's what God wants you to do as a part of your family, by all means do that. Because at the end of the day, regardless of what I say, what Pastor Jones said, or what my opinion is, or what his opinion is, you obey God.
Yes.
Period. But coming from someone who's been Bible vocational for 95% of my ministry tenure, take advantage of it. Appreciate it. Be grateful for it. Because if God can use you like this, and you by vocation, imagine what you can do.
I like that.
When you go forward.
Yes. Yes.
So be encouraged. God bless you.
Be encouraged. Because you're working, that lets everybody know that you are trying to do what you can do to take care of you and yours. I've never been taught to depend on people.
Absolutely.
I've always been taught to work for yourself, make your own money. That way you won't have to worry about nobody saying nothing about what you're getting. Absolutely. So I want to encourage those that are working and trying to pastor. It's not an easy road. It's not an easy task. But I believe that God has put something in you to be able to do what he needs you to do. I like what Pastor Walder said, just closing. That trust factor is really what we got to have. Working or not working. You got to trust God to know that whatever you stand in need of, he's going to provide for you.
Absolutely.
The same trust you preaching is the same trust you're going to have to hold on to.
Yes.
And so we want to encourage every pastor that some pastors can't work and need to work. We want to encourage you. And we want to be in prayer for you, that God will sustain you in times like these and keep you fresh for you to deliver God's word. We want to appreciate everybody for joining in on tonight, for being here with us. I know we had a lot of things going on, but that's all right. The Lord still came in and moved in a mighty way, and he spoke. And I appreciate Pastor Walder for being here on tonight. He was actually supposed to be a guest co-host, but we just had a tag team on this thing, and I enjoyed it to the fullest. Thank you so much, man. And you're invited anytime, okay? You're invited anytime. And so tonight, if this has been a blessing to your life, if what you heard was a blessing, was an encouragement, why don't you go ahead and sow a seed into this ministry? This ministry was birthed out of the pandemic because a lot of folk didn't have nothing to do, but now look at it. It's being a blessing. It's not just something that everybody want to see, not no entertainment, but we're giving you scripture. We're giving you a word of encouragement, a word of hope. And we're encouraging you in your relationship with God. Go ahead and sow. You see it right there. Cash App. $ ITPS 2020. Inside the pastor study. Well, we're getting ready to sign off tonight. I hope you enjoyed what we've given you. Our guest didn't make it, but that's all right. Pastor Collins was here He didn't make it, but that's all right. The show had to continue. And we want to just say to all of those that are watching on tonight, there's only one God.
There's only one guy.
And we ain't none of him. We're signing off. Y'all know how he does it. From Eastern Hills to all them plains. I'm Pastor Jones. That's Pastor Walder. And you have been inside of the Pastor Study. God bless you.
God bless you.